plastic container for the mind. This great gray matter, cotton candy,
Mr. Wayne.
Well, first you just got to give a little introduction to the Nodiac. Now, the Nodiac is a calendar. Put up that picture of the calendar. You know, one with the watermark on it.
Alright, hold on. Let me see if I can remember how to do the screen share. Okay, here we go. Let me know if it's up there. Marty, is up there?
Yep, you good.
Okay.
Alright, so if everybody's viewing the Nodiac right now, you can see that this calendar, looks like, looks sort of like an ancient calendar that people had in ancient times. But the thing is that what we have to understand is that the zodiac calendar that we've been going by is number one, it's a pseudo-scientific calendar. And like I said on this channel, it was created by Europeans. Now, people don't understand what I mean by it was created by Europeans. So I'm going to dive in to a little bit of research that I actually found out just prior to coming on the show. All right, so the first thing I want to actually explain to people is what does the top of the calendar mean, which is NoopooH. All right, so who and what are the NoopooH? The word and name is singular. Word and name is singular, and name are plural in purpose, which means that NoopooH means the gods of the cosmos. And the reason why NoopooH is called the gods of the cosmos primarily is because the sons of nature are the creators, growers, and generators in nature as we know it. Without the sons in nature, nothing would exist, because the sons are the foundation of every living thing within our solar systems and their products. So that's where the definition of NoopooH. Now, the word itself comes from the Nature book 3. I know you're not gonna be able to screen share that, but I'm just gonna give a quick synopsis on why it came from book 3. Now in book 3, there's a word called and
I can pull that up.
I'm sorry?
I could pull that up.
Okay, yeah, so while you pulling that up, the word Nunuzum in the Nature book 3 means gods of the gods. And the word school, SCOO, is just an acronym for SMAT Circle of Order, which is SCOO, SMAT Circle of Order. So the first two words that we see is Noon, and the second word is Noble, which means gods of the, and then you have the last word SCOO, SMAT Circle of Order, which means cosmos. So that's where you get the word gods of the cosmos. So I don't want to confuse the audience, because the thing is, I want people to get the definition and the word correct. That way, I'm not here to trick people. So that's where the word comes from. It comes from the Nature book 3.
Okay, wait. Let's go a little slow. Cause I just showed them the word Nodiac, so they can see that. So I wanted them to be able to see that first. So define, so they can see it again. Then we'll go to school so they can understand, so they can see that change as well.
Well, I can't see it because as you're putting it on the screen, I'm actually looking at it from my end as well, so I can't see what you're putting up. So you'll just have to chime in and let me know when you put it up.
I got that right now. It's on NoopooH, and it's basically saying, listen to sound right reason. It is so that the NoopooH is supernatural in the first and highest degree of intelligence and power, which is another way of saying the God of gods during the top half of the smack circle of cosmos during the time that the top half exists, the universal stabilizer. So I just wanted, because you went from that and then you start going into the school, so I just wanted them to be able to see the word NoopooH first.
Correct.
All right, so
now you're gonna go to school, right?
Right, let me just type that in real quick so that I can pull that up. Hold on. Give me one little moment. Alright, school. Because it's just showing me the diagrams with it, so they just want to show them. Alright, the smack circle of order. Okay, here we go. Let me put that back up here. I'm going to screenshot that so they can see that, what the school is, as far as the definition. Give me a second. I think this
There
is.
we go.
Alright.
Alright. You got it up there yet?
Yeah, so you want me to read it?
Yeah, you can go ahead and read it.
Alright, it's just a little paragraph. It said, listen to sound right reason. Of course, conception is the beginning of the gestation process. Notice that the first letters ENWS of the four major direction of the big order circle spell news when rearranged. See figure 38 in the smack circle of nature topic of this book. This is true because the smack circle of order, school, and all of its related circles, including the smack circle of chaos, are all the news there is, past, present, and future. And this means all knowledge there ever was, all knowledge then is, and all knowledge there can ever be. Noon is the science of knowledge, understanding, and wisdom. Knowledge is correct news, and correct news is truth, while truth is knowledge. Let it be remembered always, and let it be known.
Alright. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So now, you know, when we're doing things like this, you know, we got to make sure that people get the correct definitions to words and things of that nature, because anybody that doesn't give the correct definitions to words, they're absolutely trying to deceive you. So we're giving you the correct definitions of the words that you may not have ever seen before. So NoopooH actually means gods of the cosmos. Now, moving on. What is the etymology of zodiac? Now, if we go into the etymology dictionary online, we'll see that the word zodiac actually means circle of little animals. Alright? And that's exactly, you know, what we see, you know, with a conjunction of other things in the Dendera. Now, I made a bold claim on Sinetta's TV that the zodiac actually comes from Europeans. But the thing is, I was speaking about the Dendera. That's why I said the word Dendera, because the Dendera specifically actually comes Caucasians. Those are the ones that gave us the Dendera that we currently use till this day. Alright, and it's a pseudo-scientific calendar. So I'm going to read to you why exactly it's a pseudo-scientific calendar. And you can actually find this in you can actually go to Wikipedia. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm gonna read the first part of it, and we'll get to it. So the sculpture Dendera zodiac is widely known Egyptian bas relief from the ceiling of the Phronos or Protico of a chapel dedicated to Osiris in the Hathor temple at Dendera, containing images of Taurus, the bull, and the Libra, the scales. The chapel was begun in the late Ptolemaic period. Its pronaos was added by the Emperor Tiberius. This led Jean-Francois Champollion to date the relief correctly to the Greco-Roman period, but most of his contemporaries believed it to be to the New Kingdom. The relief, which John H. Rogers characterized as the only complete map that we have of an ancient sky, has been conjectured to represent the basis of which later astronomy systems were based. It is now on display at the Musée de l'Oeuvre in Paris. Alright, now, how do we know for certain that the Dendera is a European design? Well, let's look at the design of the sculpture to start. The sculpture itself is created in what is known as bas relief. So, if you can, Tanoon, just pull up what bas relief is, or pull up what relief is.
All right, hold on. I got the bas relief right here. I'm trying to put it up and see if I can share the screen again. Hold on, so they can see it. How do I get to it? That's the thing. Sheesh. Hold on. Yeah, Amadi.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull. I'm on a screen share, but I don't see what I want to actually pick up. It's just showing me two pictures. Hold on. I guess just hit start screen. Let me see. Tell me if you can see that.
Let me see. Hold on.
It should show base relief. It should be a definition.
Hold on. Give me 1 second. Let me. You go all the way to it?
Hold on. I'm looking at it now.
All right, there you go. Yeah, the Wikipedia joint.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. There you go.
That's the definition of NoopooH right there. Base relief.
All right, bas relief. I need to get to. All right, so let's figure out what a bas relief is. You understand? So the Dendera was definitely sculpted in a bas relief. Now, what is a bas relief? A low relief or bas relief, from the Italian basso. This is now a rather old-fashioned term in English. Is projecting image with a shallow overall depth. For example, used on coins on which all images are in low relief. In the lowest reliefs, the relative depth of the element shown is completely distorted, and if seen from the side, the image makes no sense. But from the front, the small variations in depth register as a three-dimensional image. Other versions distort depth much less. It is a technique which requires less work and is therefore cheaper to produce, as less of a background needs to be removed in a carving, or less remodeling is required. In the art of ancient Egypt and other ancient Near Eastern and Asian cultures, and also Mesoamerica, a very low relief was commonly used for the whole composition. These images would all be painted after carving, which helped to define the forms. So, I'm going to just stop there for a minute. The reason being is because I want people to understand that, number one, when they sculpted the Dendera, it had to be painted afterwards, because you wouldn't be able to recognize it if you looked at it. You understand what I'm saying? So many of the sculptures that were done in bas relief, meaning that it was actually it was on the rock, and then it had to be carved out of the rock. So what a lot of Europeans did, which like the definition said, is much less work than carving into the rock. This is what our ancestors used to do. We used to carve into rock, not carve out the rock. You understand what I'm saying? So the Dendera was a bas relief, which meant that it was carved out of the rock. So if you could just pull up some images of bas reliefs where they are carving out the rock, you'll see many, if not actually all, European creations are done with bas relief, high relief. High relief is when they have these carvings that are coming out the rock.
They say they say 2D and 3D. Can y'all see these pictures about it?
Yeah, we can see.
These are base relief and what they, you know how they used to have those little things on, I don't know, little toys or whatever, visual, you can turn it a certain way and the picture look like it come out at you.
Right.
This is how the European did his carvings. We carve in, they carve out. So this to make it look like it's coming out at you. This is called a bas relief, and we didn't do that. That's the difference between that's how he's showing you the Dendera was made. It was easier for them.
Yeah, it was much easier for them. It didn't take much time. So that's one of the main things. You know, that's how they were able to actually carve out the Dendera. So if you ever go look up the Dendera, and even if you see pictures of the Dendera right now, you'll see that the Dendera is actually a base relief. So now, 1 second. Give me 1 second. Because we're gonna have to continue this another day, but I want people to really get a gist of the Dendera being a bas relief, as opposed to what our ancient ancestors called the sunken relief. So now, after you finish with the bas relief and you show the Dendera being a bas relief, now we gotta go to the sunken relief.
You want me to show the picture of that?
Well, not a picture, not yet.
Okay, sunken relief definition. I'll go to that first.
Yeah.
From what I'm seeing, it's small. It says sculpture relief in which the outlines of modern forms are incised in a plane surface beyond which the forms do not project. Sculpture or sculptural form executed in sunk relief, like you said, it's a deeper inner thing, not an outer.
Correct. So now you can kind of understand now where the Caucasian is taking this. Even on a spiritual level, how does the Caucasian do things? How does he present God to you? Presents God to you as a what? As an outer force, as something that's outside of you. You understand what I'm saying? So even in the way he was carving these images, he was showing you an outer thing. You understand what I'm saying? We dealt with inner. This is why we carve things in the rock, not out of the rock. So the Caucasian, again, royally tricked the world. Well, he didn't royally trick the world because he knows exactly where these things come from and why they did it the way they did it. But we're here to reveal to the world that this Dendera is indeed a Caucasian creation. But if you want more proof, yeah, we're gonna have it. Just show them some sunken relief symbols real quick so that they can get a feel of what sunken. And if you look up all these sunken images, you'll see that all of those are hieroglyphs coming from ancient Egypt. So just pull up some sunken relief images.
Yeah, I got it. I'm on it.
So where do you see all these images? In Africa, in ancient Egypt. Most of the other relief images are where you see European designs and things of that nature. So they mixed in some of their stuff in there, but most of the sunken reliefs are actually from Africa in the hieroglyphs. So this is something that our people need to understand. So even if you go to Africa and you look at some of these hieroglyphs, you'll know which one is African and which one was done by Caucasians who invaded Africa, because that's what we're gonna go to next.
Yeah, you can see the deepness of the art and the architecture and how we did things.
Right.
especially with the metanetta, and those pictures and pictographs and whatnot. Those pictures are deep, and that's why they lasted so long. And the pictures, you can't get tricked as far as knowing what the pictures is. It's very deep.
They dug into them, and most of them were not what? They were not painted.
Right.
Remember, they have to date like the definition said, with a bas relief. Once it protrudes, you can't tell what it is by looking at it from the side. They gotta paint it in order to tell you, to show you what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the main part. That's the main part with that one. So now we have to go now to when the Dendera was constructed. So the Dendera was constructed around 300 BC, around the Ptolemaic period. They don't give an exact date. Don't give an exact date of when the actual Dendera was constructed, but they do tell you, well, the Dendera Zodiac. Sorry, Dendera is actually a location. The Zodiac is actually located in the Hathor Temple within the Dendera. So the Dendera Zodiac is is in the Hathor Temple, and this was done around 300 BC. Now, who was the ruling people in 300 BC? If you go and look that up, you'll see that Ptolemy the First took over rulership from Alexander the Great. You can't call him Alexander the Great, even though his name is all over there, but we'll call him Alexander the Great because we know that he came into Africa and basically ravaged everything that destroyed and made it over. Now, this is gonna come to a shock to some people. I'm gonna let the people know that that some white people that did come into Africa were named pharaohs. They interchanged between pharaoh and whatever they wanted to call themselves. So Ptolemy the First was actually a pharaoh, a white pharaoh that was in Africa. Hold on for a second. Now this is just the evidence of when the Dendera was actually when the Dendera was built was actually a time when Africa was being attacked by this group of people, by Alexander the Greek and his army, and he passing the power on to Ptolemy the First, who was actually a general in his army. So these are the people that came into the Hathor Temple, and they basically redid the zodiac that we know, that we see today. So they didn't just get the zodiac from anywhere; they actually did get it from Africans prior. Well, actually, it wasn't Africans prior to them. It was also people from another region, which came from the Middle Eastern region, and came and they also invaded Egypt as well. So we had lost power long before the Caucasian actually came in and created that Dendera zodiac. But I see Ujao is in the chat. He's saying that the bas relief was not a Caucasian thing. No, I'm not saying that the bas relief was a Caucasian thing. I'm saying that the Dendera was done in bas relief, and that's basically how the Caucasians did most of their artwork. Most of their artwork was done in bas relief. They were not done in in sunken relief. Most of our artwork, if not all that that's what the Caucasian did as far as building his type of dynasty and things that he was doing. He did most of his artwork in bas relief. So this is one of the main reasons we knew that the Caucasian was the one who did the bas relief zodiac in the Dendera in Egypt. So that's all I have to say about that. And the fact that the Caucasian groups came in and invaded Egypt around the time that this event took place shows that this zodiac calendar was not African when it was created. Now, in when it was first created, that's a whole different story, because we had other zodiacs like the Senomoot zodiac calendar. Can you pull that up for me, real quick, Tony?
And Senomoot, hold on, yeah, hold on.
I think Tarnoon might have fell out. He'll come back in here in a second. There you go. Alright, you back in, Tar. Go ahead. You got your mic on mute, Tarnoon. You there, Tarnoon? If you is, your mic is muted.
Oh, my bad. Can you see the picture?
Now we can't see nothing right now.
Oh, my bad. Hold on. Can you see that now?
Yeah, now we can. Yeah, we can see it now.
All right, that's the Senomoot tomb ceiling. They can see it, A-noot.
All right. So some of the zodiac signs, well, they came from the Senomoot tomb. There were many zodiac calendars that we had. You know, this is just one of those ones that definitely came from the Africans. You know, I just wanted to show people one that came directly from us. Now we can get back into the one that we created. I just wanted to, you know, let people know that the Dendera that people follow all to this day is definitely a result of Caucasian. That's without a doubt. That is without a doubt. And that's just based upon the time that Egypt was invaded and based upon the fact of how it was created. So it was done in bas relief, and on top of that, it was done the Ptolemaic period, where they already done ransacked Egypt and did what they have to do. Alright, so moving on. So as we go back now to the calendar, I'm just gonna give a brief run around real quick on the calendar. So the Nodiac calendar is basically showing everyone where, you know, the Caucasian got this his symbol, not his symbol, where he got the original stuff from. And what the Nodiac calendar is basically informing us that as above, so below was not just, you know, a phrase to be said, you know, in Africa or anything of that nature. It's basically letting us know that what was in the stars was also inside of our body, and that we needed to understand that, because what was in the cosmos, what was in our bodies, our ancient ancestors also depicted those things in many of the images that they made. Like, for instance, you'll have something called the jet pillar, for instance. Now, that's not on the Nodiac right now, but in coming times, you'll see the jet pillar on the Nodiac. Can you pull up the jet pillar real quick for me, Tanu?
Yeah, I'm working on it. Can y'all see that? Hold on. Can you see it now, Marty?
Yeah, I can see it. Yep.
Go ahead, A-noot.
All right. So the jet pillar is also what is known in the body as the cervical articular pillar, which is at the top of the spine. All right. It's right at the top of the spine. If you guys are at your computer right now, you can go and look up. It's called the cervical articular pillar. Now, our ancient ancestors understood that the top of the spine is called the axis. Polaris is also called the axis. Now, what did our ancient ancestors use Polaris for? They used Polaris for what? To guide us, to let us know which direction we're going. Now, the top of the spine, which is called the axis, allows your head to swivel from left to right, from right to left, up, down, north and south. This is like a compass. So basically, the top of your spine was the same thing that they reflected in the sky as Polaris, or rather, the universe is reflecting Polaris as the axis. Now, the axis used to be another star called Thuban, which is Thuban, but right now they use Polaris as the axis. So we're just gonna use Polaris right now as the axis. The secondary star is called the Atlas, I believe. Hold on, give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. I don't want to trip up and confuse anybody, but I want people to see the correlation between the jet pillar that we used in ancient Egypt, which represented uprightness. That's one of the things that definitely represented. It represented uprightness. Sorry, I was wrong. It's not called the axis. The top one is called the Atlas. I apologize, folks.
You talking about for Polaris?
Yeah, Polaris is called the Atlas. If you look up the etymology, I believe, of Polaris, let's look up the etymology of Polaris real quick. But we're gonna do this research together. I don't want people to be confused.
Polaris etymology?
Yeah, let's look up the etymology of Polaris.
Can y'all see it?
Yep. You got it up there right now.
Okay. He's talking about short for Stella Polaris, modern Latin, literally the pole star. See, polar. The ancient Greeks called it Phoenice, the Phoenician star, because the Phoenician used it for navigation, though due to precession of equinox, it was not then the pole star. Also see pole. The Old English word for it is ski. Articular cervical.
Yeah, oh, I was saying that also Ursa Minor has 7 major stars, and also if you look at the cervical articular pillar, it also has 7 vertebrae in it as well. So we know that our ancestors understood that the jet pillar was definitely the cervical articular pillar within the spine. Now, moving on, they call the Ursa Minor the little bear, right? Now we know that the English language is a very, very, very tricky language. So a word like bear, you're like, well, why would they call it bear? You know what I'm saying? A B-E-A-R. Now, metaphysicians, we basically look into things a little bit differently than other people. So what I did was like, why would they call this constellation a bear? Then I realized the trickiness behind it. Now, one thing about the spine is that it's able to bear the weight of the body. So they switched out the word bearing weight and hit you with the word bear. So the Ursa Minor is called the little bear. The Ursa Major is called the what? The big bear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So basically, what's happening now is that we gotta actually comb through the mess that they've created. So this bear that they're speaking about is really what the body can bear. So your spine is supposed to bear your the weight of your body so that you can stand upright. Because the jet pillar stood for uprightness. You understand what I'm saying? So this zodiac is basically letting us know that the stars are basically they're not mimicking what we're doing. We're actually mimicking the stars because the stars came before us. So that means we are their creations. You understand what I'm saying? So we're actually mimicking what the stars are doing. You understand what I'm saying? So the stars are the ones that predate us. So basically, when you see the Ursa Minor being called a little bear, that just means that it's bearing a small amount of weight, as opposed to the lumbar spine, which is the Ursa Major, which is a great bear. That's why when you lift heavy objects, which is the first part of your body to hurt? The lumbar spine, the back, that's the big bear right there. Because it's taking the most of the bear that you have on the spine. So that's basically what's taking place there. I hope I didn't lose anybody, with all these explanations and boring you guys, but they gotta be explained in extensive form, because I don't want people to run into that pseudo-scientific that kind of mess. This is all too important for our culture. So this is why I'm taking this time out to make sure that we understand that our ancestors knew what was above. So that's why they told us, as above, so below, or so below, as above. You understand what I'm saying? And in the nature of nature, the exact words that mean as above, so below means the all in all. Meaning that the all on the outside.
Did you hear anything about the little bear and the big bear?
I heard about the little bear and the big bear.
Okay.
Yeah, so that I just wanted to explain that to people. Let the audience know that our ancestors knew exactly what was in the stars, and this is why they use Polaris for navigation and things of that nature. Now, when we come back on the show, I'm gonna definitely start explaining some of the Nodiac signs. It's getting kind of late, so I don't want to run off. I want to be able to have a fresh mind, so I can go through these zodiac signs. Also, if you look at the calendar, there's some holidays on there. I want people to know that each one of those holidays on the zodiac sign is basically a direct opposition to all the holidays that we celebrate, in Caucasian culture. So basically, I'm just gonna close out by letting people know that there's definitely much more information to come with this Nodiac, and you know, I don't want people to get bored by doing this research. That's why I had Noop come in and we researched this information together. Now, how many people gonna sit there and actually, let's research it together. Let's go find out what bas relief is. Let's go do this. Let's go do that. I'm just not pushing something in your face and telling you, hey, this is what it is, and just buy it and just do whatever you want with it. Now, if you want a calendar for yourself, you can definitely you can definitely email me at Noponoone@gmail.com, and you guys can order that Nodiac. And basically, when I'm teaching you this stuff, you can also go to the Nodiac yourself, and you can pinpoint where each Nodiac sign is, where each holiday is, and then we can learn this information together, because I think it's very important if we can learn this information together as a people. So as time goes on, we can definitely, create a culture around learning from each other. But there's definitely much more information to go about this calendar, because the next time we speak, we're going to be talking about how the stars actually how we mimic the stars as far as these body parts are concerned. And I guarantee you, family, you're going to be blown away by some of the research that I found out about these stars. And my name is A-noot, NoopooH, and I just want to say thanks to the family, thanks to Amadi, thanks to 6th Dynasty, thank you to Noop, thank you to thank you to Sinetta as well. Sinetta helped bring the platform for me to the introduction information to the audience. I had a long day. I was at the African Arts Festival yesterday. Any of you guys around, you can definitely come down to the African Arts Festival. I'll be wearing a red, black, and green shirt. It looks like an American flag, but it actually has the Africa continent on it. So, if you guys want to ask me any questions about the Nodiac, you can ask me questions there as well. I'll be at the African Arts Festival. And basically, like I said, if you want to order one of the calendars, it's Noponoone@gmail.com, which is NoPonoone@gmail.com. And that's all I have to say. But thank you for listening. Thank you for sticking around. We're gonna do some more research together. We're gonna do this together as a people. Everything we do, we have to do together. So, I love you, family, and that's all I have to say. I don't know if anybody else has any other part.
Amadi, can you make sure you put the Gmail in there so they can get it?
Yeah, let me see. Let me go into the
Cause I put it in there earlier.
Let me go into the back. You know what? I had copied it, but it was on top of something else, so I wasn't for sure if you want me to post that or whatever. But I got it right here.
NoPonoone@gmail.com.
Yeah, I got you. I'm about to put in a link in the chat now. I can put in the description of the video too.
Okay.
Yep. There you go. And I'll probably run this on the other channel too, live tomorrow.
Appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely appreciate that. So yeah, cause it's running late, and I already know that a lot of people probably trying to get their rest and stuff like that. And I'm definitely trying to get my rest because I gotta go back out there and get them all at the African Arts Festival. So you got anything to say, Tom? While I jump off?
Y'all see the picture right here?
Is that Q?
Yeah, that's Q Butter.
Uh-huh.
And hold on, let me show you one more. It's on your page. Oh, there you go. Y'all see that? Amadi.
Let me see. Hold on, give me one moment.
That was
yeah, I see him and Umar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was the day.
Yeah, I checked that joint out earlier.
What you say, Marty?
I said I had checked that joint out earlier.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, so Umar loved it. I'm gonna try to. I know people been flagging him, but I'm gonna try to get it where he can put it in his school. You know what I'm saying? Where these kids can learn, from this. Because it's time to get back to real scientific information. Because people think that we just put this thing together just to throw it together. No, this thing actually makes sense. You understand what I'm saying? Like down to the fact that from the Aries sign within the spring season, which is the bone marrow for us, all the way around to the genitals, kind of clockwise. That's exactly how the baby gestates in the womb. I didn't even mention that the baby actually gestates in the womb from that bone marrow sign all the way around to the genitals. But I'm closing out. I'm tired. You know what I'm saying? So we gonna build again though.
All right. Yeah, man, I'm hectic too. I got some videos I gotta work on. Lay it down. I appreciate it, Abadi. It's always a pleasure. True peace to those who was in, and true peace to Cuban. True peace to Chuck. Chuck Poster came in. He must have fell asleep or something. And we'll definitely be back soon as we get a chance.
All right, I'll send you a message or a text when I run this on the other channel.
All right, that's what's up. So we out.
I better run it with my broadcaster software.
Okay, we can do that.
Yep. Not how you call in or something. Maybe answer some questions or something.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I appreciate it though.
All right.
All right. Yo. Peace.
Let me close that out. Hold on a minute.
All right, y'all. We'll be back tomorrow. 6th Dynasty Study Group, the team. We got the Gullah Geechee build coming tomorrow. Me, Joseph Coleman, and my name is Jade. Gonna go in on that real deep with that real historical information, man. With the all the references and sources that you need. You know what I mean, to provide our are gonna be provided to show that we show and prove that we did the homework. So with that, family, peace. We gone. Thanks for tuning in. Subscribe to this channel, 6th Dynasty Study Group. Also, go subscribe to 6th Dynasty Media. Peace.